You are being controlled. Every day you are hijacked. Hijacked by an email. Hijacked by a comment. Hijacked by the person who cut you off in traffic. Every time you react, you are a slave. You give your power away to the stimulus. You are a puppet, and your emotions are the strings. This program is your liberation. This is not a guide. This is an installation. We will install a mental pause button in your mind. We will forge a space between the stimulus and your response. The art of non-reaction is the art of power. Listen to this program and reclaim your control. Chapter 1. Reaction is slavery. Response is power. You are being controlled. Let's be clear about that. From the moment you wake up, you are being controlled. You are hijacked by an email. You are hijacked by a news headline. You are hijacked by a comment on social media. You are hijacked by the person who cuts you off in traffic. Every time you feel that hot flush of anger, that jolt of anxiety, that immediate, desperate need to defend yourself, you are a puppet. Every time you react, you give your power away. You become a slave to the stimulus. You have been trained your entire life to believe that these reactions are you, that your anger is you, that your anxiety is you. You have been told to express yourself, vent your feelings, and be authentic. But this is a lie. This is not freedom. This is slavery. When you lash out at a colleague, you are not being authentic. You are being predictable. When you let a stranger's opinion on the internet ruin your morning, you are not expressing yourself. You are being manipulated. You are a biological machine running on outdated software. This software, this impulsive, emotional reaction, was designed for a world that no longer exists. It was designed to save you from a tiger in the grass. It was not designed to handle a critical email from your boss. And so you fail. You react. You lose. This program is the new software. This program is your liberation. The first step in this liberation is to understand the battlefield. You must draw a hard, bright line in your mind, a line that separates the slave from the master, a line that separates weakness from power. This is the line between reaction and response. You must drill this into your mind. A reaction is a chain. A response is a choice. Let's define them. A reaction is emotional. It is fast. It is defensive. It is a biological spasm. It is weakness. When someone accuses you and you immediately shout, "That's not true," that is a reaction. When someone insults you and your heart pounds as you type a furious reply, that is a reaction. When you make a mistake and you are instantly flooded with shame and excuses, that is a reaction. A reaction is pure submission. It is you on your knees, telling the world that it has the power to control your internal state. The person who insults you, they own you. The driver who angers you, he owns you. The email that stresses you, it owns you. As long as you are a reactive person, you are an open book. You are easy to manipulate. You are easy to defeat. Now, let's talk about the alternative. Let's talk about power. A response is logical. It is slow. It is deliberate. It is chosen. A response is power. When someone accuses you and you pause, you breathe, and you ask, What information led you to that conclusion? That is a response. When someone insults you and you observe your own flash of anger, you let it pass and you choose silence. That is a response. When you make a mistake and you feel the shame rising and you pause and say, "I understand, let's fix it," that is a response. A response is a declaration of freedom. It is you standing firm and telling the world that you and only you are in charge of your mind. You are not a slave. You are a master. This is not theory. This is a practical, tactical analysis of power. Let's watch it play out. Picture a high-stakes meeting. The project is failing. The executives are looking for someone to blame. Someone points at person A. "This is your fault. Your team dropped the ball." Person A is a slave. He reacts. His face turns red. He gets defensive. "That's not true. We did our part. It was marketing's fault. You don't know what you're talking about." What has happened here? Person A has lost. Completely. He may even be factually correct, but it doesn't matter. He looks weak. He looks guilty. He looks out of control. He has flooded the room with emotional, defensive energy. He has confirmed in the minds of everyone watching that he is not a leader. He is a liability. His status has evaporated. Now, let's run the scenario again. The same accusation hits person B. "This is your fault. Your team dropped the ball." Person B is a master. He does nothing. He holds the speaker's gaze. He doesn't flinch. He lets the accusation hang in the air for 1, 2, 3 full seconds. The room becomes silent. The accuser, who was expecting a fight, now feels exposed. Person B has done nothing, and he has already won. He has created a pause. He has taken control. Then he delivers his response. It is calm. It is cold. It is strategic. "I understand the concern," he says, his voice even. Let's walk through the data from the last 2 weeks. Who has the power in that room? It's not about yelling. It's not about proving you are right. It's about control. Person A is a slave. Person B is a master. One reacted, one responded. That's the key. You must drill this into your mind. Reaction is a chain. Response is a choice. Your entire life is a series of these moments, these choices. Your partner says something that triggers you. Do you react and start a war? Or do you respond and seek to understand? You have a choice. You are stuck in traffic and feel the rage building. Do you react, laying on your horn and poisoning your own body with stress? Or do you respond, accept the reality of the situation, and use the time to think? You have a choice. The choice is simple. It is the choice between slavery and mastery. Your journey to non-reaction begins now. It begins with this first foundational understanding. You must reject the identity of the reactive person. You must stop making excuses for your impulses. It's not just who you are. It's a failure of discipline. It's not being passionate. It's a lack of control. It's not being authentic. It's being a predictable machine. From this moment forward, you will see every urge to react as a test. You will see it as a link in a chain. And you will see yourself holding the bolt cutters. You are not a slave. You are a master. You have accepted the problem. You now see the battlefield clearly. You understand the profound difference between the weakness of reaction and the absolute power of the response. But to execute this response, you need a tool. You need a weapon. You need to build the space between the world and your action. You need to forge the mechanism that allows you to choose. You need to install the single most powerful tool of self-control. That brings us to Chapter 2. Installing the mental pause button. Chapter 2. Installing the mental pause button. In the last chapter, we established the fundamental law. Reaction is slavery. Response is power. You now understand the difference. You can see it. You can see the weakness in the person who screams in a meeting. You can see the power in the person who waits, who pauses, and who responds with cold, deliberate logic. But this knowledge is useless if you cannot apply it. When you are in the fire, when the insult hits, when the panic rises, how do you stop the machine? How do you, in that split second, sever the chain of reaction? You do it with a tool, a weapon. This chapter is not a theory. It is not a philosophy. It is an installation. Right now, in the next 7 minutes, we're going to build and install the single most powerful mechanism in your new mental fortress. We're installing your mental pause button. This is the weapon you will use to create space. Because that space, that one single second of silence between a stimulus and your action, that is where your power lives. That is where the master takes control from the slave. To understand how it works, you must first understand your own mind. Think of your mind as a house. Your emotions, your anger, your fear, your insecurities, they are the electrical wiring. A trigger, an insult from your partner, a critical email from your boss, a sudden financial loss. This is a power surge, a massive, uncontrolled jolt of electricity. For your entire life, you have had no protection. The surge hits the wiring, and the house instantly catches fire. You yell. You send the email you'll regret. You break the relationship. You panic and sell at the bottom. The house burns down. Every single time. This is the reactive mind. This is the slave's mind. Now, what does a master do? A master doesn't stop the power surge from happening. You cannot control the world. You cannot control other people. No, a master installs a circuit breaker. The moment the surge hits, the moment the trigger fires, the breaker trips. The power is cut, the surge is contained, the house is safe. This mental pause button, this is your circuit breaker. It doesn't destroy the emotion, it doesn't make you a robot. It simply stops the emotion from becoming an immediate destructive action. It cuts the connection to your reactive, impulsive slave brain. And it gives your logical, rational master brain time to come online, time to assess, time to choose. This is not about suppression. It is about control. That's the key. So, let's build it. We are going to conduct the installation right now. If you are in a safe place, I want you to close your eyes. If you are driving or operating machinery, keep your eyes open, but focus your mind entirely on this task. I want you to visualize a button. This is your button. It is not mine. Is it a large red industrial button on a steel panel? Is it a sleek modern glass button on a touchscreen? Is it a heavy iron lever that you must pull down? It doesn't matter, but you must see it. Make it real. Feel the texture of it. This is your mental pause button. This is your circuit breaker. Now, I want you to mentally place this button somewhere. You can place it in the center of your mind. You can place it in your chest, right over your heart. You can place it on your wrist. This is your internal mechanism. Only you have access to it. Now, we are going to link it. I want you to think of a small trigger, something minor that irritates you. The sound of a notification on your phone when you are trying to focus. Someone walking too slowly in front of you. A pop-up ad on your computer. Feel that small, familiar spark of irritation. That tiny, weak power surge. Now, hit the button. In your mind, see your hand move. Feel your finger press that button. Pause. Sound effect. Click. What happens? The irritation doesn't vanish. You still feel it. But the impulse, the urge to sigh, to groan, to clench your jaw, is severed. You have created a 1-second space. In that 1 second, you are free. You have a choice. You can observe the irritation and then let it go. You have just taken your first taste of power. Now, we will drill this. This is the new law of your mind. The stimulus hits. You hit the button. You gain control. Let's run it again. A bigger trigger. Picture an email from someone you find difficult. The subject line is demanding. You feel the jolt of anxiety. You feel the flush of anger. The surge is coming. What do? You do not open the email. Not yet. First, you hit the button. Pause. Sound effect. Click. You take one deep breath. The surge is contained. The house is not on fire. Now, the master is in control. You open the email, you read it, you see the trigger. But you are detached. You are the scientist observing the chemical reaction. You are not in the beaker. You see their emotion. You see their agenda. And you choose when to reply. You choose how to reply, or if you will reply at all. You are no longer a slave to your inbox. This is the drill. This is the law. The stimulus hits. You hit the button. You gain control. This is not a metaphor. This is a neurological practice. You are building a new pathway in your brain. You are physically rewiring yourself. The old pathway was stimulus, reaction. It was instant and it was weak. The new pathway is stimulus, click, pause, choice, response. This is the pathway of power. Your body will fight this. Your mind, addicted to the drama, to the rush of cortisol and adrenaline, will hate this. It will feel uncomfortable. Good. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. You don't need permission to be calm. You don't need anyone's approval to take a second to think. This is your mind. This is your house. You set the rules. You must practice this. Do not wait for a crisis. That is too late. The slave is too strong in a crisis. You must train in the small moments. You must build this muscle. Practice in traffic. When someone cuts you off, hit the button. Practice in a conversation. When you feel the urge to interrupt, hit the button. Practice with your phone. When you feel the phantom buzz, hit the button. Every time you do this, you are casting a vote for the master. You are starving the slave. The stimulus hits. You hit the button. You gain control. This is your new identity. This is who you are now. You are not a reactive person. You are a person of control. You have the tool. The mental pause button is installed. You have the mechanism to stop the fire. But now we must ask, what causes the fire? What is that weak, insecure, screaming part of you that is so desperate to react? What is that part of you that needs to be right, that needs to defend itself, that needs to be seen? The button is your shield. But to win the war, you must not only defend, you must confront the enemy within. That enemy is your ego, and it is time to starve it. That brings us to Chapter 3. Starve your ego. Feed your power. Chapter 3. Starve your ego. Feed your power. In the last chapter, we installed your mental pause button. You now possess the mechanism, the circuit breaker, the tool that creates the space between the world and your action. But now we must ask the most important question. Who or what are you fighting? When that insult hits, what is that thing inside of you that screams? What is that part of you that demands you react? That part that is so desperate, so fragile, that it cannot tolerate a single moment of criticism. We must name the enemy. That enemy is your ego. Your ego is the part of you that needs to be right, the part that needs to be seen, the part that needs to win the argument. It is a parasite. It lives on validation. It feeds on external approval. And it panics when it is threatened. This is the truth. The part of you that is so quick to react is the weakest part of you. You've been lied to. You've been told that a quick, fiery defense is a sign of strength, that standing up for yourself in every petty argument is a sign of confidence. It is a lie. It is a sign of deep, profound insecurity. It is the sign of a fragile ego that is in complete control of your mind. Your ego is not you. You must drill this into your mind. Your ego is not you. It is a screaming child. Think about it. A screaming child in a grocery store. What does it want? It wants the candy. It wants attention. It wants its way now. And what happens when you give it the candy? Does it quiet down forever? No. It learns. It learns that screaming works. It learns that it is in control. The next time, it will scream louder and sooner. This is what you have been doing your entire life. Every time you react, every time you snap back, every time you post the angry comment, every time you need to prove you are smart or right or good, you are giving the screaming child the candy. You are feeding the ego. And your ego has become a spoiled, uncontrollable monster. It hijacks your mind, it ruins your relationships, and it destroys your peace. The art of non-reaction is the ultimate act of starving this child. Let's run the scenario. Someone at work in front of others says, "The report you wrote was sloppy and unprofessional." The stimulus hits, the power surge comes. Instantly, the ego screams. It screams, "Attack, defend, we are under attack. They think we are stupid, they think we are weak. Prove them wrong. Attack, attack, attack." The slave, the person controlled by the ego, obeys instantly. They say, "That's not true. I worked all weekend on that. It's not my fault, the data was late. Your work is the one that's always sloppy." And just like that, you have lost. You fed the child. You proved to everyone in that room that you are fragile, that you are controlled by your insecurities. You proved that one single sentence from one single person can break you. Now, let's see how the master behaves. The same stimulus. The report you wrote was sloppy and unprofessional. The stimulus hits, the power surge comes. Instantly, the ego screams. But the master has been training. The master hits the mental pause button. Pause. Sound effect. Click. The circuit is broken. The master does not obey the screaming child. Instead, the master observes the child. The master feels the hot flush of anger. The master feels the jolt in the chest. The master hears the ego's voice screaming, "Defend me! Attack!" And the master does nothing. The master simply watches this internal tantrum and waits. The master lets the child scream until it has no more air. The master lets the feeling peak and then pass. This is the act of starvation. The silence in the room stretches for 1, 2, 3 seconds. The master, now in complete control, with a mind that is clear and cold, chooses a response. Perhaps the response is a simple, "I'll look into it." Perhaps it is a cold clinical question. Which specific parts did you find unprofessional? Perhaps the response is just silence, a calm, unbroken stare that communicates more power than any words ever could. This is the discipline. It is not about suppressing the feeling. It is about detaching from it. It is about understanding that the screaming child is not you. You are the parent. You are the master. You don't need its permission to be calm. You have a choice. Your ego is not you. Your ego is a screaming child. Do not feed the child. Feed your power. Starve the ego. What is power? What are you feeding when you starve the ego? You are feeding your true self. You are feeding the calm, silent, strong part of you that knows its own value. You are feeding the part of you that does not need external validation. You are feeding the part of you that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. That's the key. True confidence is not loud, it is quiet. True strength is not reactive, it is still. When you starve the ego, you stop proving and you start being. This is your new training. From this day forward, you are on a diet. You are on an ego diet. You will stop defending yourself in comment sections. You will stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You will stop arguing about things that do not matter. Every time you feel the urge to win a petty argument, you will hit the pause button. You will identify the screaming child, and you will starve it. Every time you let someone else be wrong without you correcting them, you are building muscle.
Every time you accept a criticism without defending yourself, you are building armor. Every time you choose silence over a reactive emotional reply, you are feeding your power. It's not about being a doormat. It's about discipline. It is about knowing that the fight is not with the other person. The real fight is internal. The only victory that matters is the victory over your own impulses. You must become ruthless in this. Your ego will not go quietly. It will tell you that you are weak. It will tell you that you are letting them win. It is a lie. When you refuse to play the ego's game, you have already won. You have installed the pause button. You have identified the enemy, the ego. You have your new mission. Starve the ego. Feed your power. Now, you must learn the specific mental state that allows this to happen. You must learn to stop being your thoughts and emotions and learn to watch them. You must become the scientist, the master. You must become the unshakable observer. That brings us to Chapter 4, the unshakable observer, how to detach and analyze.
Chapter 4, the unshakable observer, how to detach and analyze. In the last chapter, we identified the enemy. The enemy is your ego, that screaming, fragile child inside you that lives on validation and demands that you react. You now have your mission: starve the ego. But this is a tactical problem. How do you starve something that feels like it's you? When the anger rises, when the shame hits, it doesn't feel like a separate entity. It feels like you are on fire. How do you stand still and starve a fire that is burning you? You do it by realizing the most important truth of this entire program. You are not the fire. You are the one watching the fire. You are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer. For your entire life, you have been fused with your feelings. You have been merged. When anger appears, you say, "I am angry." When anxiety appears, you say, "I am anxious." You have identified yourself with the passing chemical weather of your mind. This is the greatest error. This is the root of your slavery. Because as long as you are fused with the emotion, you are controlled by it. You have no choice. This chapter is about your liberation from that fusion. We're going to break that identification. We're going to build a new identity. The identity of the unshakable observer. This is the part of you that is truly you. It is your consciousness. It is the silent, still, powerful center of your mind that is aware of your thoughts, aware of your feelings, but is not those things. Let's use the core metaphor. This is the analogy you must drill into your mind. Picture a scientist in a high-security laboratory. The scientist stands in a control room, safe, behind 3-inch thick reinforced glass. In front of them, in a sealed steel chamber, a volatile chemical reaction is taking place. 2 chemicals are mixed. There is smoke. There is fire. There is a violent, chaotic explosion. It is loud. It is dangerous. But the scientist is perfectly calm. The scientist is not afraid. They are not in a panic. They are not fused with the reaction. Why? Because they are not in the chamber. They are observing. They are detached. They are taking notes. They are learning. Your anger, that is the chemical reaction. Your fear, that is the explosion. Your ego's defensive rage, that is the fire. And your entire life, you have been living inside the chamber. You have been letting the fire burn you. You have been letting the chaos throw you against the walls. The art of non-reaction is the art of stepping out of the chamber. It is the art of standing behind the glass. It is the art of becoming the scientist. That's the key. When someone insults you, a violent chemical reaction is triggered. You feel the heat. You see the smoke. The slave, the person fused with their ego, is the explosion. They become the chaos. The master hits the mental pause button. And in that 1-second pause, they mentally take one step back. They step out of the chamber. They stand behind the glass. And from this new position of safety, this new position of power, they simply observe the reaction. They watch the anger. They watch the ego screaming. They watch their heart rate try to climb. They watch their hands want to clench. And they look at it all with a cold, clinical, analytical eye. They say, interesting. Look at that reaction. Look at that anger. Look at that defensiveness. The moment you do this, the moment you observe the emotion instead of becoming it, you have won. You have cut its power. You have starved the ego. You have taken back control. This is the new law of your mind. You are not the storm. You are the mountain. Observe the storm. Do not become it. Detach. Observe. Control. The storm is loud. The storm is violent. The storm seems powerful. But it is temporary. It is just weather. The mountain is silent. The mountain is still. The mountain is permanent. The storm can do nothing to the mountain. It can only break against it. Your anxiety is a storm. Your anger is a storm. The chaos of other people is a storm. You are the mountain. You don't need their permission to be the mountain. You don't need to ask anyone if it's okay for you to detach. You have a choice. So how do we practice this? This is not just a theory. This is a drill. Here is the tactical 3-step observer technique. The next time you are triggered, in a conversation, by an email, by anything, you will do this. 1. You hit the mental pause button, Chapter 2. This is the circuit breaker. It stops the action. 2. You mentally step back and name the emotion. You must label it. Like a scientist labeling a specimen, you will say to yourself, this is anger. This is defensiveness. This is the ego feeling threatened. The simple act of naming the emotion is a neurological miracle. It instantly moves activity from your primitive, reactive limbic brain to your logical, rational, prefrontal cortex. You cannot be in the fire and naming the fire at the same time. 3. You analyze it. You ask one simple question. Why? Why am I feeling this? What rule of mine was broken? What insecurity was just touched? You become a detective of your own mind. This entire process takes 3 seconds. But in those 3 seconds, you have transformed from a slave to a master. It's not about being cold. It's not about being a robot. It's about being clear. It's not about emotional suppression. It's about emotional control. You stop being a victim of your own mind. You become the architect of it. This is your new practice. You will practice this in small moments. When you feel a flicker of irritation in a long line, detach. Observe. Control. When you feel a jolt of anxiety from a phone notification, detach. Observe. Control. You are not the storm.
You are the mountain. You will become unshakable. How can someone manipulate a mountain? How can someone provoke a scientist who is just taking notes? They cannot. When you become the observer, you neutralize all emotional attacks. You see them for what they are: data. Their anger is not your problem. It is their chemical reaction. You can observe it, analyze it, and then choose how to respond to it, or if you will respond at all. You have installed the pause button. You have identified the ego. You have now become the observer. You have the tools for defense. You have the tools for analysis. As you practice this, as you become the scientist, you are going to start gathering a lot of data. You will start to see patterns. You will notice that it's the same triggers, the same insults, the same situations that cause the most violent reactions. Your observer has given you a map of all the landmines buried in your own mind. A master does not just avoid the landmines. A master goes on the hunt. That brings us to Chapter 5, Deconstructing Your Triggers, Disarm the Landmines.
Chapter 5. Deconstructing Your Triggers. Disarm the Landmines. In the last chapter, you became the observer. You stepped out of the burning chamber and stood behind the glass. You learned to detach. You learned to watch the chemical reaction of your anger, your fear, and your ego. And as you've been watching, you've been taking notes. You have gathered the data. You now have a map, and that map is leading you to a disturbing truth. You are living in a minefield. Your mind is not a peaceful sanctuary. It is a battlefield, rigged with hidden explosives. We call them triggers. A trigger is not just an annoyance. A trigger is a programmed weakness. It is a tripwire connected directly to your ego. It is a landmine buried in your subconscious, waiting for someone to step on it. And when they do, you explode. You react. You lose. You become the slave. Where did these landmines come from? They are not yours. They were installed in you. They were installed by a parent who said you weren't good enough, by a teacher who shamed you, by a bully who humiliated you, by a past failure that you never forgave. These are the ghosts of your past, and they are still controlling you. A trigger is a chain that links a neutral, present-day event to a powerful, unhealed wound from your past. And for your entire life, you have done what slaves do. You have avoided them. You have walked on eggshells in your own mind. You have built your life around your triggers. You avoid certain people. You avoid certain topics. You avoid certain challenges. You have surrendered your freedom in exchange for the illusion of peace.
This is not mastery. This is cowardice. A master does not avoid the minefield. A master clears it. This chapter is a tactical audit. This is the bomb squad. We are not just going to find the triggers. We are going to hunt them. We are going to expose them. And one by one, we are going to disarm them. A trigger only has power if you give it power. We will find the trigger. We will starve the trigger. We will break the chain. Here is the three-step process. This is the drill. This is the non-negotiable work you must do. Step 1. Identify the precise trigger. You must be a sniper. You cannot be vague. It's not, I get mad at work. It's, I feel a hot, uncontrollable rage when my boss interrupts me in a meeting. It's not, I am anxious about money. It's, I feel a cold panic when I hear the payment declined sound. You must be specific. Your observer will show you. Find the exact moment the explosion happens. Step 2. Interrogate the root belief. This is the most critical step. This is where you follow the chain. A trigger is just the symptom. We must find the disease. You must ask yourself one question over and over. What does this mean about me? You are no longer a victim. You are an interrogator. You are interrogating your own weakness. Let's use our example. My boss interrupted me. What does that mean? It means he doesn't respect me. What does that mean? It means my opinion isn't valuable. What does that mean? It means I am not valuable. And there it is. The landmine is not the interruption. The landmine is the toxic, hidden, root belief, I am not valuable. The interruption is just the footstep that hits the fuse. Step 3. Reframe and reprogram. You have found the lie. I am not valuable. A landmine is disarmed when you cut the fuse, you break the chain. You do this by replacing the lie with the truth. This is not positive thinking. This is not affirmations. This is a cognitive war. This is installing new software. You will consciously, deliberately create a new belief. Let's complete the example. The trigger is interruption. The root lie is I am not valuable. The reframe, the new belief, is this. When someone interrupts me, it is not a statement about my value. It is a statement about their lack of self-control. It is a sign of their impulsive mind. It is their weakness, not mine. Do you see the power shift? The old belief made you the victim. It made you weak. The new belief makes you the mountain. It makes you the master. You have transformed a moment of personal insult into a moment of analytical power. You are no longer the one being judged. You are the one observing. That's the key. A trigger only has power if you give it power. You have just taken all its power away. Let's run another one. The trigger. Someone calls you stupid. The explosion, immediate, defensive rage. Step 1. Identify. The trigger is the word stupid. Step 2. Interrogate. What does it mean? It means they think I'm an idiot. What does that mean? It means they might be right. The landmine, the deep, hidden fear that you are not smart enough. Step 3. Reframe. My intelligence is not determined by an outside opinion. It is determined by my actions, my discipline, and my results. A person who resorts to simple insults has lost the argument. They are revealing their intellectual weakness, not mine. You have broken the chain. This is your new work. This is the discipline. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about becoming invincible to it. You don't need permission from your past to be free. You have a choice. You can choose to remain a slave to these old wounds, or you can choose to do the hard work of digging them up and disarming them. This is the real path to becoming unshakable. It's not about having a high pain tolerance. It's about not feeling the pain at all. It's about removing the buttons that other people keep pushing. What happens to a manipulator when they push a button and nothing happens? What happens to a bully when they launch an insult and you just look at them with a calm, analytical gaze? They become powerless. Their weapon is useless. They
are exposed. We will find the trigger. We will starve the trigger. We will break the chain. This is your homework. Take a piece of paper. Make a list. What are your top 3 triggers? When my partner criticizes my driving. When a friend cancels plans at the last minute. When I see someone else succeed at something I failed at. Now do the work. Interrogate all 3. Find the root lie and install the reframe. This is the path to building your inner citadel. You are clearing the land, brick by brick, of every explosive weakness. You have disarmed the internal landmines. You have started to clear the field. You are no longer a victim of your own programmed reactions. You are becoming clean. You are becoming solid. And when you are no longer at war with yourself, you gain access to a new, powerful weapon to use with the world. When you are no longer triggered, you can wield the most powerful and most misunderstood tool of the master. A tool that makes you unreadable. A tool that makes you dominant in any negotiation, in any conflict, in any room. You are ready to master the silent power of strategic indifference. That brings us to Chapter 6, the silent power of strategic indifference.
Chapter 6, the silent power of strategic indifference. In the last chapter, we went to war. We went to war with your past. We hunted the landmines that were buried in your mind. We exposed the triggers. We interrogated the root lies. And we did the hard, necessary work of disarming them. You are no longer a slave to your own programming. You are no longer a puppet waiting for someone to pull your strings. You are becoming solid. You are becoming clean. And now that you are no longer at war with yourself, your real training can begin. It is time to take this new internal calm and turn it outward. It is time to stop defending and start advancing. It is time to learn how to use your non-reaction as a weapon. This weapon is called strategic indifference. This is the chapter where you learn the single most important law of social power. You must burn this into your mind. In any human interaction, in any conflict, in any negotiation, the person who cares less always wins. Read that again. The person who cares less always wins. Your entire life, you have been taught to do the opposite. You have been taught to be passionate, to show them you care, to be invested. And so, you show your emotion. You get excited in the negotiation. You get angry in the argument. You get desperate in the relationship. You are showing them exactly what you want. You are showing them exactly what you fear. You are showing them on a silver platter all of your cards. A person who shows their cards is a person who loses. Your reaction is the currency. It is the most valuable currency you possess, and you have been giving it away for free. You have been cheap. This chapter is about how to become expensive. Strategic indifference is not apathy. Apathy is weak. Apathy is the slave who has given up. Strategic indifference is discipline. It is a conscious, tactical withdrawal of your emotional energy. It's not about feeling nothing. You are human. The scientist still sees the chemical reaction. It's about showing nothing. It's about choosing, with iron discipline, not to give the other person the satisfaction of your reaction. That's the key. Let's look at this in practice. Let's look at the child's tantrum. The child screams in the store, "I want the candy. I want it now."
This is a raw emotional bid for control. The child is using chaos to force a reaction.
The reactive parent, the slave, meets chaos with chaos. They get embarrassed. They get angry. They start yelling, "Stop it! You're embarrassing me! We are leaving!" Who is in control of that situation? The child is. The child with one simple emotional outburst has hijacked the parent's entire nervous system. The child has won. Now, let's look at the master. The child screams, "I want the candy." The master parent pauses. They hit their mental pause button. They do not get angry. They do not get embarrassed. They do not get flustered. They simply look at the child with a calm, neutral, almost bored indifference. They give the fire no oxygen. They wait. The child's screaming gets louder. Then it falters. The child sees that its weapon, its emotional chaos, is having zero effect. The child is now confused. Their strategy has failed. The parent's calm indifference is a vacuum. It has drained all the power from the child's tantrum. The fire burns out. The master parent then leans down and says calmly, "We are not doing that." The battle is over. The master won by refusing to fight. Your indifference is your leverage. Let's take this to the boardroom, the negotiation. The person across the table slams their hand down. "This is our final offer, 200,000. Take it or leave it." This is an ultimatum. It is a tactic. It is designed to trigger your fear of loss. The reactive person, the slave, panics. Their heart pounds. "Oh, I can't lose this deal. Okay, I accept." They have been completely controlled. The master smiles. They hear the ultimatum. They hit the pause button. They observe the other person's emotional outburst, and they show nothing. They lean back in their chair. They might even look at their watch. This calm, indifferent silence is terrifying to the person who just played their final card. The master's indifference creates a void. The person who made the threat is now in a panic. Did I misread them? Are they going to walk? I can't lose this sale. The master says nothing. The other person starts to talk again, their voice weaker. "I mean, maybe we have a little room to move?" The master has won, without saying a word. Your reaction is a currency. Stop giving it away for free. Become expensive. This is a new discipline. You must stop needing to react. You must stop needing to have the last word. You must stop needing to win the argument. You must stop giving manipulators the emotional data they need to control you. When someone tries to provoke you, they are fishing. They are casting a line, hoping you will bite. They need your anger. They need your defensiveness. It is their food. Strategic indifference is how you starve them. You see their hook, you observe it, and you let it float right by. This is infuriating to a manipulator. It makes you unreadable. It makes you impossible to control. You have shown them, with your silence, that they do not matter. You have a choice. It's not about being a sociopath. It's not about being rude. It's about being economical. It's about discipline. Why would you waste your precious emotional energy on a person who does not matter, on an argument that does not serve your goals? You don't need their permission to be indifferent. You don't need to explain why you are not engaging. Your silence is the explanation. This is your new identity. You are an emotional miser. You will conserve your energy. You will save it for your work, your mission, your goals. You will stop giving it away to the screaming children of the world. Your reaction is a currency. Make it the most expensive currency on earth. You have disarmed your triggers. You have become the observer. And you now wield the silent, unshakable power of strategic indifference. You have become a fortress. Mentally, you are unshakable. But there is a problem, a final weakness. You can intend to be calm. You can try to be indifferent.
But what happens when the chaos is so high that your body betrays you? What happens when your mind says pause, but your heart is pounding so hard you can't think? What happens when your hands are shaking? When your voice cracks? When your breathing becomes short and shallow, and you are flooded with the cold fire of adrenaline? Your mind cannot win if your body is in open revolt. To be a true master, you must have control not just of the mind, but of the machine. You must learn to hijack your own nervous system. You must build the armor of calm. That brings us to Chapter 7, the armor of calm, breathing techniques for chaos.
Chapter 7, the armor of calm, breathing techniques for chaos. In the last chapter, you learned the power of strategic indifference. You learned to make your reaction an expensive, precious currency. You learned to win by refusing to play the ego's game. You have a strong mind, you have a powerful new identity, but your body is still a traitor. Your body is still running that old, weak slave software. You can tell yourself to be indifferent. You can try to be the calm, unshakable mountain. But what happens when the stimulus hits and your body betrays you? What happens when your boss yells and your mind says pause, but your heart explodes in your chest? What happens when you're in a confrontation and your voice starts to shake? When your palms sweat, when your vision narrows and you can't think? This is a physiological hijacking. This is your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, drowning your rational mind in a flood of adrenaline and cortisol. You cannot be a master of your mind if you are a slave to your nervous system. That's the key. If your mind is the commander, your soldier is the soldier. And right now, your soldier is a panicked, disobedient rookie. This chapter is about discipline. This is where we train the soldier. This is where we teach you to take manual control over the machine. You are going to learn how to hijack your nervous system back. And your weapon is your breath. It sounds simple. It sounds soft. It is not. Your breath is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that you have direct conscious control over. It is the remote control. It is the manual override. When you are in a panic, your breathing becomes fast and shallow. When you are calm, your breathing is slow and deep. The slave's mind believes that your emotion controls your breath. The master's mind knows that your breath can control your emotion. You have a choice. You can let the body's panic hijack the mind, or you can use the mind's discipline to command the body. Control the breath, control the mind. The body follows the breath, the mind follows the body. This is your armor. We are going to install 2 tactical breathing techniques. These are not for meditation. These are not for relaxation. These are weapons for chaos.
The first is your in-the-moment tool. This is for when you are in the fire, in the meeting, in the argument. This is the tactical box breath. It is used by Navy SEALs. It is used by special operators. It is used by masters. It is called the box breath because it has 4 equal sides. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold. We will drill this right now. Sit up straight. You will inhale through your nose. You will exhale through your mouth. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4. That is 1 repetition. Let's go again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. What is happening? You are doing 3 things at once. 1. You are physically slowing your heart rate. You are forcing your body to obey a calm pattern. 2. You are stopping the hypoxia of panic. You are balancing the oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood, allowing your rational brain to think again. 3. You are forcing your mind to focus on the count. Your brain cannot panic about the future and count to 4 at the same time. You have just physicalized your mental pause button. The next time you're in a high-stress meeting and you feel that hot flush of anger, you deploy the box breath. No one will even know you are doing it. It is silent. It is invisible. And it is your armor. While they are losing control, you are building it. It's not about being calm. It's about being lethal. It's about being in control while everyone else is in chaos. Control the breath, control the mind. Now, we need a second tool. The box breath is for active chaos. But what about when you are already hijacked? What about when the argument is over and you are alone in your car and you are shaking with rage? What about when you are about to walk into the most important presentation of your life and your anxiety is so high you feel sick? This is not a time for subtle. This is a time for an emergency brake. This is the 4-7-8 technique. This is a powerful physiological signal to your brain. This is how you force your parasympathetic, your rest and digest system to take over. The exhale is the weapon. Here is the drill. You will inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. You will hold your breath for a count of 7. You will exhale audibly through your mouth, making a whoosh sound for a count of 8. Let's drill it. Inhale through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through your mouth, whoosh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale, hold, exhale. Why does this work? That long 8-second exhale, that audible release of air, is a primal signal to your vagus nerve. You are telling your body in its own language the danger has passed, the tiger is gone, you are safe, stand down. You cannot think your way out of a panic attack, but you can breathe your way out. 3 repetitions of the 4-7-8 and your nervous system will obey. It has no choice. This is your new discipline. You are no longer a victim of your own body. You are the commander. You don't need permission to take a second and breathe. You don't need to ask the world to calm down. You are the source of your own calm. It's not about feeling peaceful. It's about discipline. The master controls the machine. The slave is controlled by it. Your armor is built. Control the breath, control the mind. The body follows the breath. The mind follows the body. You have now mastered your internal state. You have the pause button. You have starved the ego. You have become the observer. You have disarmed your triggers, and you have learned to wield indifference. And now you have the armor. You have physiological control. You are calm. You are solid. You are in complete command of yourself. The stimulus hits, and you are still. But the pause is not the end. The pause is the setup. The battle is won in the pause, but the victory is claimed in what comes next. After the pause, after the breath, you must act. You must speak. You have mastered non-reaction. Now you must master the response. That brings us to Chapter 8. How to respond, the 5-second strategic reply.
Chapter 8. How to respond, the 5-second strategic reply. In the last chapter, we built your armor. You learned to control the machine. You learned to use your breath as a tactical weapon to hijack your nervous system back from chaos. You can now stand in the fire, and your body will not betray you. You are calm. You are armored. You are still. But let's be very clear about one thing. This is not the goal. Calm is not the end. Calm is the beginning. Non-reaction is not about being passive. It is not about becoming a stone wall that simply absorbs abuse quietly and with dignity. That is still slavery. That is the discipline of a victim. The pause, the breath, the calm. This is the moment you load the weapon. This chapter is about how to fire it. The pause is not an escape. It is a recalibration. It is the 5-second window where the slave is silenced and the master steps up to the controls. And the master acts. A response is not passive. A response is a precise, logical, strategic action designed to improve your position. A reaction is defensive. A response is offensive. A reaction is about your ego. A response is about your mission. That's the key. You must burn this into your mind. Do not react. Do not absorb. Reflect. After the pause, you do not attack. You respond. You win. When someone attacks you, you have been trained to do one of two things: fight back, reaction, or shut down, victim. We are introducing the third path, the master's path. You reflect the energy. You do not accept it. You hand it back. Today, we cover the 3 forms of strategic response. These are your weapons. The first and most powerful is the strategic question. Let's go back to our meeting. Your boss blames you unfairly. This is all your fault. Your work is sloppy. The reaction, the slave's reply, is, "That's not fair. I worked all weekend. It's not my fault." This is a defense. You are on your back foot. You have accepted the premise of the attack, and you are now defending your position. You have already lost. The response from the master is different. The stimulus hits. Your work is sloppy. Pause. Box breath. Control. Observe. Now you respond with a question. What specific information led you to that conclusion? Or, help me understand what sloppy means to you. Or, which part of the report did you find unprofessional? Do you see the power of this? You have not accepted the attack. You have reflected it. You have moved from the defendant to the prosecutor. You have forced the attacker to move from a vague, emotional accusation to a specific, logical defense of their own position. They now have to do the work. They are on their back foot. The person asking the questions is the person in control. Always. When someone says, "That was a stupid idea," the reaction is, "No, it wasn't. You don't understand it." The response is, "What part of the idea do you believe is stupid?" When someone says, "You're always late," the reaction is, "I am not. You were late last week." The response is, "What are you trying to achieve by saying that?" This is a clinical, surgical tool. It strips the emotion out of their attack and leaves only the logic, which in most cases is nothing. The attack collapses. You have a choice. You can be the defendant, or you can be the prosecutor. It's not about being aggressive. It's about discipline. It is the discipline of refusing to be put on trial. The second weapon is the cold statement. Sometimes a question is not necessary. Sometimes the goal is not to engage the other person, but to end the engagement. The cold statement is a brick wall. It is the statement of your reality. It does not ask for permission. It does not apologize. It does not explain. A colleague tries to dump their work on you. I need you to finish this by 5 p.m. The reaction, the slave's reply, is, "Oh, I don't know, I'm really busy. I'll try my best." You have just become a doormat. The response from the master is, pause, breathe. That will not be possible. Silence. Notice what you did not say. You did not say, "I'm sorry, but I can't." Sorry implies you did something wrong. You did not. You did not say, "I can't because I have to do A, B, and C." An explanation is a negotiation. It invites them to argue with your reasons. "Oh, but A can wait. B isn't important." You do not need to explain. You are not a child asking for permission. You are a master stating a fact. That will not be possible. It is a full stop. It is a closed door. It is absolute. You don't need their permission to state your reality. Let's use it with an insult. Someone says, "You are an idiot." A question is pointless. You don't need to ask, "Why do you think I'm an idiot?" A reaction is, "No, you're the idiot." The cold statement is, "We are done here." Or, "I don't accept that." Or, "Do not speak to me that way again." It is not a request. It is a command. It is the sound of a boundary of iron being set. Do not react. Do not absorb. Reflect. After the pause, you do not attack. You respond. You win. You are no longer a victim. You are a strategist. You have the armor. You have the weapons. You have the training. But these are tools for battles. This is the code for engagements. The final stage of this transformation is to move beyond the battle. It is to build a mind, an identity so strong, so permanent, and so whole that the chaos of the world can no longer even touch you. It is time to stop wearing armor and become the fortress. That brings us to Chapter 9, Building the Inner Citadel, the Unoffendable Mind.
Chapter 9. Building the Inner Citadel, the Unoffendable Mind. In the last 8 chapters, we have been at war. We have built your arsenal. We installed the mental pause button. We identified the ego. We became the observer. We disarmed your triggers. We learned to wield strategic indifference. We built the armor of calm. We mastered the strategic reply. You now have the tools for the battle. You have the armor for the fight. You have the weapons for the engagement. But this is not the end game. Armor is heavy. Weapons must be carried. A life spent in constant, tactical defense is still a life defined by the enemy. It is still a life of conflict. This is the final stage. This is the transformation. The goal is not to win the war. The goal is to transcend it. The goal is not to wear armor. The goal is to become the fortress. This chapter is about building your inner citadel. This is the term the great Roman emperor, the
the Stoic master, Marcus Aurelius, used. This is his concept. Think about this man. He was the most powerful person on earth. He ruled the known world. And his life was chaos. He was surrounded by traitors in his own court. He was betrayed by his closest friends. He was on the front lines of a brutal war for decades. He watched his own children die. He ruled through a devastating plague. This was a life of unimaginable external chaos, failure, and pain. And yet, his mind remained his own. The chaos could not touch his core because he did not live in the world. He lived inside his citadel. This is the ultimate state of non-reaction. It is an inner fortress, a mental sanctuary so strong, so permanent, and so absolute that the insults, the failures, and the chaos of the external world simply break against your walls. They have no power. They cannot get in. You are the fortress. The world is the weather. The weather cannot harm the stone. Build the citadel. Protect the core. So, how do we build it? A fortress is not built in a day. It is built brick by brick. The first layer, the foundation, is the Stoic dichotomy of control. This is the blueprint for the entire structure. You must take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, things I control. On the other, things I do not control. What do you control? You control one thing, your mind. You control your choices. You control your principles. You control your actions. You control your response. This is your citadel. This is your kingdom.
What do you not control? Everything else. You do not control the economy. You do not control the weather. You do not control the traffic. You do not control other people. You do not control their opinions. You do not control their actions. You do not control their reactions. You do not even control your own body. It can get sick. You do not control your own reputation. It can be slandered. For your entire life, you have been a slave because you have been trying to build your house, your peace of mind, in their territory. You have been trying to build your happiness on a foundation of their approval. You have been trying to build your calm on a foundation of a calm world. This is impossible. This is why you are always in chaos. You are building on quicksand. The master, the architect of the citadel, builds only on the land they own. Your peace of mind must be built only on the things you control. Your choices, your character, your response. That's the key. The second layer, the mortar that holds the bricks together, is internal validation. You must fire the external judge. You must stop asking the world for permission to be happy, to be worthy, to be strong. You don't need their permission. You are the only judge. You are the only jury. Your citadel has one throne, and you must be the one sitting on it. This is a discipline. It's not about arrogance. It's about independence. You will stop posting things online hoping for likes. You will stop telling people your good news, fishing for their congratulations. You will stop needing someone else to say, "Good job," to know that you did a good job. You will build your own scoreboard, and you will be the only one who matters on it. When you are the only source of your own validation, what can an insult possibly do to you? It's just noise. It's irrelevant data from an outside source. The third layer, the walls themselves, is the daily practice. A citadel is not a thought. It is a structure. It is built by work. Every single day, you have a choice. Every day, the world will test you. It will send the weather, the traffic, the rude email, the criticism, the failure. And every time, you have a choice. Do you react? Do you let the weather in? Do you let the chaos breach the walls? Or do you hit the pause? Do you observe? Do you use your armor? Do you deploy your strategic response? Every time you choose a response over a reaction, you are laying another brick. Every time you starve your ego, you are making the mortar stronger. Every time you choose to live by your principles, not your impulses, you are building the walls higher. This is the work. It's not about a goal. It's about a process. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. You are the fortress. The world is the weather. The weather cannot harm the stone. This is what it means to be unoffendable. The unoffendable mind is not a mind that is ignorant of the insult. It is a mind that is impenetrable to it. When someone hurls an insult at you, the slave catches it. They pull it inside. They analyze it. They let it poison them. The master, the citadel, does not. The insult hits the wall, and it shatters. It turns to dust. It has no effect. The fortress does not care about the wind. It does not negotiate with the rain. It simply is. This is your new identity. You are no longer a person. You are a place. You are a place of sanctuary, a place of calm, a place of absolute control. People will be drawn to this. They are all slaves living in the chaos, and they will see your fortress, your calm, and they will be in awe of it. They will not understand it, but they will respect it. This is the ultimate power of non-reaction. You have built the citadel. You have protected the core. The walls are high. The foundation is secure. But a fortress, even the strongest, cannot be abandoned. A fortress must be maintained. It must be guarded. This is not a magic trick. This is not a one-and-done solution. This is a new identity. This is a new life. It requires a code. It requires a set of non-negotiable rules that you will live by from this day until your last. It requires the discipline of non-reaction. That brings us to our final chapter. Chapter 10, The Discipline of Non-Reaction, a Lifelong Practice. Chapter 10, The Discipline of Non-Reaction, a Lifelong Practice. You have reached the end of this program. You have the tools. You have the armor. You have the weapons. You have the blueprint for the inner citadel. But let me be perfectly clear. You have finished nothing. You have just begun. This program, this audio, this is not a magic trick. This is not a pill you can swallow. There is no switch that has been flipped in your mind, suddenly making you a master. This is not a lesson. This is a life. This is not an event. This is an identity. This is your new code. And a code is worthless if it is not practiced. A fortress that is not guarded will fall. An armor that is not maintained will rust. Your mind is lying to you right now. It is telling you, I understand this, I've learned it, now I am calm. It is telling you that you will use these tools when it matters, when the big confrontation comes, when you are on stage, when you are in the termination meeting. This is a lie. This is the slave's final desperate excuse to remain lazy. You will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of your training. And the training, the real work, is not in the big moments. The real work is in the dirt. This is the central discipline. It's not about one heroic act of non-reaction. It's about thousands of small, unseen, boring acts of discipline. Your new dojo is not a mythical temple. Your new dojo is the traffic jam. Your new sparring partner is not a sensei. It is the person who cuts you off in that traffic jam. Your new test is not a final exam. It is the slow-moving line at the grocery store. It is the unstable internet connection. It is the notification on your phone that dares you to look at it. These are not annoyances. They are opportunities. They are repetitions. They are gifts. For your entire life, you have seen these moments as problems, as frustrations. From this day forward, you will see them as practice. That's the key. The slave is frustrated by the line. Why is this happening to me? This is a waste of my time. The ego is screaming. The master smiles. The master sees the line and says, "Good, a chance to train." This is your new identity. You are the person who trains. You are the person who welcomes the small friction. So let's run the drill. This is the drill for the rest of your life. The stimulus hits. The person cuts you off. What do you do?
1. You hit the mental pause button. 2. You deploy the box breath. You control the machine. 3. You step back. You become the unshakable observer. 4. You watch the ego. You hear it scream, "Honk at him, he disrespected us." You observe this screaming child, and you starve it. 5. You analyze. This is not an attack. This is just a person who is late or distracted or a bad driver. This has nothing to do with me. 6. You choose your response. Strategic silence. You choose indifference. You conserve your currency. 7. You feel your heart rate remain steady. You feel your mind remain clear. You have won. You have laid another brick on the wall of your inner citadel. All in 3 seconds. That is the discipline. That is the practice. This is not a lesson. This is your new code. This is who you are now. You have a choice in every single insignificant moment. You can feed the slave, or you can build the master. You don't need permission to be in control. You don't need the world to be calm for you to be calm. You are the fortress. The world is the weather. So here is your final drill, your graduation. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. Your mission for the next 48 hours is to hunt for these moments. You will intentionally seek out minor discomfort. I want you to go to the grocery store, and you will choose the longest line, intentionally. You will stand in that line, and you will feel the itch, the impatience, the victim mentality rising, and you will smile. You will hit your pause. You will run the drill. You will practice being the mountain. You will use that 5 minutes to think, to breathe, to be in control. I want you to intentionally drive in the slow lane behind a truck. You will feel the urge to weave, to get angry, and you will resist. You will hit the pause. You will practice calm. You will practice detachment. You will put your phone in another room for 3 hours. You will feel the phantom buzz, the anxiety, the need to check, and you will observe it.
You will starve that impulse. It's not about suffering. It's about discipline. It is about proving to yourself in the physical world that you are in command. You are forging your new identity through action, not just through listening to this program. This is the work. This is the practice. This is the rest of your life. It does not end. But it gets easier. The pause button, which at first feels heavy, will become instant. The observer, which at first feels forced, will become your default state. The citadel, which you are now building brick by brick, will one day stand so high that you will forget what it was like to live in the chaos. This is not a lesson you have learned. This is an identity you have earned. This is who you are now. You are not the person who is hijacked. You are the person who pauses. You are not the slave. You are the master. You are not the storm. You are the mountain. The discipline is the path. Non-reaction is the destination. You have the code. You have the tools. You have the fortress. Your training is complete. The installation is done. Now, the real war begins. We have reached the end of this program, but your war has just begun. For your entire life, you have been a slave to your impulses, a slave to your triggers, a slave to the words and actions of other people. You were a leaf in the wind, a puppet on a string. Today, that ends. You have been given the blueprint for the mental pause. You have been given the tools to starve the ego and build the citadel. You know the law. Reaction is slavery. Response is power. You know the technique. The stimulus hits. You hit the pause. You gain control. You are no longer the person who is hijacked. You are the observer. You are the fortress. You are the master. The pause button is now installed. Your training is complete. Now, here is your final command. Use it. Do not let one more hour of your life be dictated by someone else's chaos. Go into your world, face the storm, and for the first time in your life, show them the power of your calm. The work starts now.